Guys, good morning. We're going to go ahead and begin. We are on step 3. This is Wednesday, contracts and title company. I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. I don't know why I started. Okay. Contracts and title company. So this is whenever, now that you have built your list and you've skip traced, you made the call, you made the offer. Now it's time to type up the contract so you can send it over to the title company to get the close started. Excuse me. I just drank a bunch of orange juice and it's it's not going too well. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Okay, so table of contents. Contracts and title company, timing of contracts. There's an urgency as soon as you get it under contract, or you got the offer made out there, and now you got to get the contract to them, sent over via email, or if you do DocuSign, or however you get it over to them so they can sign it so you can begin this process. That's timing is urgent. That's what we typically do, and we had a little situation this morning where we were at fault and we didn't communicate with the buyer. The title company that we were going to go through, they didn't get back with us, and we reached out to them for an entire week and nobody got back with us. So that was a week wasted. And so the seller called me this morning and he's like, "Hey, Mike, I know we're not looking to close by Friday, but I just wanted to see what was going on." And we backtracked it and we found out, it was a lack of communication on our part. And, we explained, we're sorry about that, but, moving forward, we'll be sure to keep you informed of any changes on anything. And, that's what you got to do. If the situation comes about like that, where you need to, you need to let them know, hey, the times are changing, because none of this is a guaranteed set time. And in working with title companies, you're dealing with a lot. So you got to keep that in mind moving forward, that, things might change. If there's a lien on it, or if the abstract, closing dates get pushed back. I had one the other day, the 31,000 that we did. We were expected to close last Tuesday on that, and it took 6 days later for us to finally get closed and get our assignment. So we'll look at DocuSign, how to utilize DocuSign, or Adobe Sign, or whatever electronic signature program that you use. That's the fastest and most efficient way to get it to your seller. The title company, we'll talk about, and we talked about this a little bit last night in our group, and I'll talk about the title company. I need to put /attorney, real estate attorney in there, because a lot of you are in Georgia and where you don't have a lot of the title companies or closing companies to go to, but it's basically the same process. It's just an attorney doing it. So, I mean, no matter what, you'll have attorney eyes on this, whether you go with a closing title company or a real estate attorney that specializes in this, according to your state. It's the same process. Earnest pay and escrow, we'll talk a little bit about that, what you need to get if the seller is looking to get some earnest pay. We'll discuss options on that, and then keys and inspection, so you can prepare for your investors. And we'll talk about getting the keys, or putting a lockbox, or setting up time if it's occupied, and things like that. And then preparing for the investors is just making sure that you got your marketing right, where to go. And then we'll transition into step 4 on Thursday. Okay, so timing of contracts. Now that you have the agreement with your seller, it's time to type up the contract immediately so that the deal is fresh on the mind of, not the customer, I'm sorry, the seller. We usually have contracts sent within minutes. And whenever I say minutes, as soon as I get off the phone with them, I say, hey, I'm going to type this up, and I usually do. We have it in our assembly line order, but if you're working by yourself, here's what you would do. As soon as you get off the phone, you get on your laptop or your computer and you type up this contract right here, or whatever contract, sale contract that you have. These are everywhere. Look in your Facebook groups, look in our group. This is just a simple standard sale of contracts. So we'll go over that here in a few, but I just want you guys to make sure that you guys type that contract up immediately, and then make sure you look it up and make sure that you understand it, and as well as the homeowner or the seller as well. In step 2, we gather contact information from the seller, ensure that all information is correct, as this is a legal document and will go in front of a title company's attorneys. So that's what I was talking about earlier. This is going to go in front of legal eyes, because this is a legal transaction going on. So make sure that everything in here is spelled correctly. We had a typo last week whenever we sent some of the deed paperwork over to Mr. Bingham last week with our close, and there was a typo on it. So we had to overnight a new set of papers and wait for that to come back. So make sure you have your ducks in a row whenever you're doing this, to ensure that you guys don't run into any problems along the way that can delay your seller from getting paid, and you getting paid, and your end buyer from starting their work. Okay, now we're going to talk about electronic signatures, or DocuSign. We use DocuSign. I don't want to do a whole lot of training on DocuSign, but it's pretty easy, drag and drop. I mean, it's that easy, and all you're going to do is type in, the people's information and your information in there. There's YouTube videos on DocuSign, so I'm not going to get into that. But once you have filled out the contract, it's time to send it over to your seller. So DocuSign or similar tools like Adobe Signature or whatever it is, they're great ways to save time via electronic signature. If you have time to meet with the seller, request to meet at the property and inspect with a contract in hand. That's a good idea. If you already have an agreement price with the seller, then you can just go on the property and say, hey, we had this in mind, this price in mind. So here's the contract. Let's get this deal started. Otherwise, electronic signatures are the fastest and most efficient way to send and receive contracts. A lot of elders are out there that don't have DocuSign. Maybe you have to meet with them, or maybe have to mail in the contract and wait for them to mail it back. So just keep that in mind. This is also the easiest way to get contracts to the title company fast to start to close. That's what you need to do. As soon as you get it under contract, what you need to do is download that contract from DocuSign, or if you have the physical copy, take it down there or email it immediately to the title company, and then you'll have your 2-week inspection time after that, and then you'll be able to start looking for an end buyer. Okay, so the title company, or like I said before, it's basically the same process no matter what. They're just making sure the legal documentation is correct whenever this transaction goes forward. So title company or attorney or real estate attorney, whatever you want to call it. But after you receive the signed contract, it's time to send to your attorney or your title company or whoever's taking care of the close. Make sure you find a title company that you and the seller are mutually comfortable with, or if you're using that attorney, just let them know. Just make sure you're in communication with everybody. Get all contact information, including phone numbers and email from the title company, to ensure the best communication possible. So whenever we get something, we CC everything from the contracts, to the title company, to everybody here in office who's working on the specific property, or just make sure you're organized and everybody knows what's going on. Again, we ran into that problem this morning, and you know, you just got to learn from it. I mean, that's how I took it. You know, I didn't get defensive or anything like that. Said, I was busy, or just say, you know what, that's my fault. I'll take the blame for that, and we can move on. If you still want to move on, we would love to still work with you. And that's what we did. And we got to touch base with the title company this afternoon and find out a good closing date or estimated closing date so we can get this gentleman taken care of. Let me see. Email, take the contract to begin the close. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so earnest and escrow. So this is what we typically do on a close, and a lot of times we just open the close and we don't have to put any money into escrow. We just we just let the close, you know, go through. But if you want, and if you feel that you need to, you can put $1 into escrow. And then also, if the homeowner is asking for some earnest pay, then that would be the time where you let them know, hey, I'm just going to put $1 into your escrow right now, because of the fact that you know, I don't want to tie up a lot of my money during this inspection time, but I do want to make sure that, you know, everybody is comfortable. So whenever, you know, our inspections are completed, then we can talk about a significant amount of earnest pay. And now what you're going to do is you're going to get that earnest pay from your end buyer, and we'll talk about that in step 5. So yeah, keys and inspection, set up a time to do an inspection and gather keys for showings if it's vacant. If the property is occupied, get with the seller and set up a time to take pictures. So this is important. Make sure that you organize some time to look at the entire property, that you got inspection time, that you have time to bring in your investors so they can look at it. And you don't have to explain nothing to them whenever they're going. You don't have to explain who they are. All you have to do is say, hey, me and my investors are wanting to look at the property that we are purchasing from you. Is that okay? And just go through your business. Don't do a whole lot of talking. Just, you know, walk through it and let the seller know, you know, this is a process that we do, you know, this is how we get our bids in, and you don't have to explain a lot to them, and just go about as you would, as, you know, hey, we're showing these to our investors. Preparing for investors. So this is the time to gather all the information and preparing for marketing. And the next step will show you how to find cash buyers in the area, how to deal with realtors, and several other marketing tips to get your assignment fee from an investor. Now, marketing, we'll go with LV McCree tomorrow. He'll be in with us as well, and he'll show you the steps as far as, you know, Facebook groups and you know, just several other options, you know, that we use to find investors, like dummy ads and things like that, and we'll get into that later. So what I'm going to do right now, do you guys have any questions? I'll go ahead and answer questions right now if you guys are needing any of that discussion.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, sir.
If you had like a set day to close, and then the buyer wanted to close like earlier or later, like how would you do that?
Okay, so we set it out for 30 days because that's a typical enough time for us to find our buyer. But in a case that we close earlier, great. We just got to make sure that excuse me, we got to make sure that the seller is okay with that, if they got all their, you know, whatever out of that property and they're ready. But if they're motivated to sell and it's vacant, then, you know, it could close quick. It could close within 12 to 15 days. But you got to make sure that you got an end buyer for the property. but if you want to go that route, if you want to close earlier, that's an option. But if let's say you couldn't find a buyer and your 30 days are coming and title company's got a closing date and they're ready to go, then that's whenever you would reach out to the seller and you would say, hey, I don't think that we're going to be able to close it within the 30 days we had talked about, but here's what I can do. We're still working on it at the title company, and we're still working on it at my end as well. Is it okay that we push it out for 15 more days? And then that's when you make an addendum to the contract, and then you get, that's what I'm going to have to do here in a little bit is make an addendum. And an addendum is basically just something that states that, it's changed or, something is going on, and then you would date it, and then everybody would sign, the contract basically over again, or the addendum. So that's what you would do in that situation. We are probably going to run into our first situation like that with this gentleman I was talking about. So I'll definitely let you guys know how it goes, but yeah, that's how you would take care of that if you're coming up on your closing date. Guys, good on questions? We got a small class today.
Actually, I got one,
Hey.
Mike.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
So you have the 14-day inspection period on the contract. So in that 14 days, you would market it off to your investors and you would get a termite inspection on the property?
Yeah, so here's what we have in ours. Let's just go over this contract so you guys can get a better idea of so this contract of sale here in the contract dated this September 29th, 2020, and by and between Edward, and that's the customer, or the seller. I'm sorry, I always say customer because and whenever I was in flooring, I would always say customer or the homeowner. So if you hear me saying that a lot, that's the reason why. But the seller.
Mike, are you sharing your screen? Because I can't see it. Or
yeah, I am. Can you not see it? You do?
Yeah, maybe it's just me.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing, and then I'm gonna share again. Okay. Can you see it now?
All right, yeah, now I got it.
Okay, sorry about that. So, and we'll go through the termite, your question right here, number 8. We'll go through this complete contract so you guys can get an idea, so you don't know. So if it comes across that you don't know, you'll get an idea of what I'm looking at now. So that's basically the sellers right there and us. Flexible Solutions Group agreement to purchase and sell. I'm not going to read every bit of this. I'm just going to kind of scroll through it so you can get an idea. 11 Bingham Circle in Shawnee, that's the address. Anything bold, and you guys got a copy of this. We kind of make everything bold so we know what to change as far as, numbers and address and names and dates and things like that. So this is the dollar amount of escrow we talked about to put it in their escrow account of the attorney for the buyer. The purchase price, that is check at settlement. If seller does not execute contract, immediately turn to the buyer. Time and place of settlement. This is where you are going to set your closing date out. So we were pretty close. I mean, we were only 2 days off, or I'm sorry, 4 days off from that. So, yeah, set it out. We usually do 30 days. We got it on contract September 29th. October 30th was almost the closing date. Make sure that you change in the state of wherever you're at. We have it in Oklahoma here. Appointments. It's just legal stuff to cover you in the wholesale transaction. Look over this, guys. Make sure this suits you. This is just a simple one that we got. I think I got this one from from Kong or the wholesale, in the wholesale group that I'm in. I can't remember. Just a lot of state changes in here. Make sure that you're looking through those. As is, where is condition, as is, where is condition. This is stating that you're buying it as is. No remodel is going to take place. Just how it is. That's how you're buying this. Now, here's the termite inspection. Okay, so this will give you a couple of weeks. Just say, hey, buyer at buyer's expense is authorized to obtain a written report from an Oklahoma license. You don't have to, but you're authorized to do so. So this is your termite inspection time. Just let them know, number 8, give me about 2 weeks on this. I'm gonna look it over. I'm gonna have my people look it over. We're gonna come in, do inspections, take pictures, do all that. I'm doing termite inspection on this. So that's where you kind of you have the opportunity to find your buyers, get your buyers over to the property, have them look at it, and all that. So let me see here. This is just stating the information of the seller. That's your information. Breach of contract information, just simple breach of contract stuff. Miscellaneous. Guys, I'm not a lawyer and I don't want to give you legal advice on here, so make sure that you look at every one of your contracts and it makes sense for you. That's basically it. You set an offer date. Okay, so offer expired. So you let them know that, you know, we mean business. We don't want to wait a week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, we've done that, but it sucks because you find a good deal and you want to get it done. So that's why you put offer expired midnight, 2 days after you type up this contract. I guess we had typed it up on the 27th, but make sure you put an expiration date and say, hey, we don't want to, you know, waste our time and money into this. So if you're not going to sign it within, you know, certain date, then we're going to have to move on to other properties. So that's how you can explain it to them. Basically, seller, buyer's name, signature, that's it. I mean, most of this is filled out for you on our I'll go right here, Flex Group University. You can go to files right here, and then there's that assignment contract right there. There's other stuff as well. And I'm going to add a lot more from another wholesale group I'm with. I'm going to look through some of those and add that to. I feel very unorganized this week because of this ice storm in here. So we haven't had a lot of time to work on Flex Group University, but we will definitely get everything updated today. We're all in office today. So yeah, that's the basic contract. Alex, I hope I answered your question in that where you have 2 weeks inspection.
Yeah, you did. Thank you.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any more questions or anything they want to share? We just had a pretty quick class today, and I get a lot of questions about step number 3. So if you got any questions about the title companies or contracts, this would be a perfect time to ask those questions.
So if you're doing like a virtual deal and you can't go to the actual house, would you get like a lockbox type of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's what you can do, or you can just hide the key. But lockbox looks more professional, of course. If you're doing it remotely, I would definitely see this would be a good time to reach out with the realtor, see if they would want to work with you. Say, hey, I'm a wholesaler. I know you guys don't want to, work with wholesalers a lot, but you're in my area. You're doing great. Can I throw you a little bit for showing this house? JV, reach out to people, make deals. And then you can also, reach out to maybe photographers on Craigslist, freelance photographers that might want to take pictures of the property. And as soon as you got access to the property, make sure that, they have a key, or you can set that up with the photographer. If you want to pay for a lockbox at Lowe's and have them pick them up and have them set it up for you. Just however that works for you. Think outside the box and organize that with people who can get access to the house if you're not around. Any more questions out there? No more questions, guys. See, I know there's not a whole lot of y'all in here today. I don't know what happened, but I believe John reach out to me. Does nighttime work better for you guys?
It doesn't really matter for me.
Okay. I'll reach out to the entire group as well. What we'll be doing is, if you're having any trouble on PropStream or building lists, I need you guys to reach out to me in the group and let me know how we can make this better, because I'm not getting a whole lot of questions, and maybe that's a good thing, because maybe you guys are just soaking it in and taking it out there and putting it into action, and I hope you are. But if you guys have any questions that you can think of, or you have any topics, or if we need to improve any, please let us know. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys. I mean, I want you guys to get a contract quick, and I want you to take this information out there. We got Pete watching in. He's here in office with us, and I'm ready and excited to get him his first deal. So we're grinding with you guys, and that's set a goal 1 week. There we go. Here, look. Chris said 1 week. We're going to give you guys 1 week. There we go. Well, I'm going to do it hey, $500? $500? Hey, I'm going to give $500 in cash money. I'll cash app you. $500 for the first person, not Yesenia. She's already on contract. We're already working with her. The next person, we're going to make an incentive. We're going to make it up to Yesenia. But the next person who gets a contract, I will cash app you $500 the moment you get a contract. So there it is. Bam. I hope you have a great day. Take that into consideration. And, man, go out and put in some work. You're entrepreneurs now. So y'all have a good one, and have a blessed day. Thanks.